Lil Terrio is committed to becoming the best version of himself, and earlier this week, he took to Instagram to show off his progress. In a side-by-side photo shared on Instagram, fans can see that he's lost a considerable amount of weight. He opened up about the journey in his caption, noting that while it wasn't easy, it was worth it. "They said I would die from obesity," he began. "But I chose to fight for my life instead. It wasn't easy, and the journey tested me every single day. Progress doesn't come from wishing, it comes from showing up, pushing through, and refusing to give up. If you're struggling, remember, your transformation is waiting on the other side of your discipline." Those words weren't just a caption to go along with a photo. They felt like a declaration, a kind of personal manifesto that was meant for himself but also meant for the millions of people who have followed his story for years. Lil Terrio, whose real name is Terrio Harshaw, rose to fame in 2013 when he was only 6 years old thanks to the viral Kill Em dance. At the time, he was just a little kid having fun, unaware that the clip would explode across Vine, YouTube, and Twitter, turning him into a meme and one of the earliest child internet celebrities. His playful moves, chubby cheeks, and infectious energy were pure entertainment, but what came next was not always so light-hearted. Fame found him before he could even understand what fame meant. Strangers recognized him in public. Adults laughed at him, cheered for him, and sometimes mocked him. His face and dance became a global punchline, replayed over and over without his permission. What started as fun quickly turned into the kind of notoriety that no child is prepared to handle. For Terrio, the years after that viral moment were marked by struggles with his weight and his health. The little boy who people thought was cute and funny grew older, and the internet, which can be cruel and unforgiving, started making harsher comments. Instead of celebrating him, people mocked his size. Memes were no longer innocent, they became critical, sometimes even hateful. He was told repeatedly that his obesity would kill him young, and those words, though they came from people hiding behind screens, planted real fears in his mind. For a child growing up in the public eye, ridicule wasn't just playground bullying, it was magnified across the world. That's what makes his latest Instagram post so powerful. It's not just a before and after comparison of a boy who grew into a young man and decided to take control of his health. It's a story of survival, of refusing to let the cruel predictions of strangers become reality. The side-by-side photo represents years of sweat, tears, mental battles, and small victories that added up to a life-changing transformation. It shows a boy who once felt trapped by his circumstances growing into a man determined to reclaim his story. Social media users didn't hold back their reactions to his latest update. On X, formerly Twitter, people flooded timelines with encouragement. Some wrote simple but heartfelt comments like, "Keep up the great work," or "Proud of you." Others pointed out that his transformation didn't just change his body, it probably saved his life. Saved his life, one person wrote bluntly, and that statement captures what's at stake for so many people battling obesity. It isn't just about looking different in photos or fitting into smaller clothes. It's about avoiding diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, joint problems, and the many complications that come with extreme weight gain. For Terrio, it was about refusing to let obesity dictate his future. At the same time, he's not the only person making headlines for a body transformation. Lizzo, the Grammy-winning singer known for her unapologetic confidence and outspoken support of body positivity, has also revealed changes in her body in recent months. In an interview with Women's Health UK, Lizzo explained that she likes how she looks now, but she still identifies as plus size. "I like how I look now," she explained. "I still think I'm big. I'm still wearing plus-size clothing. I have the same rolls. I got the same belly, the same thighs, I think I'm just a smaller version." Her comments made waves because they challenged the rigid way society tends to view weight loss. For Lizzo, transformation isn't about erasing her identity or conforming to a beauty standard. It's about health, self-love, and continuing to exist loudly in a world that tries to silence or shame people for their size. Body positivity has nothing to do with staying the same, Lizzo added. Body positivity is the radical act of daring to exist loudly and proudly in a society that told you shouldn't exist. Those words resonate beyond Lizzo's personal journey. They speak to a larger truth, transformation doesn't mean betraying who you are. It means choosing how you want to exist, on your own terms. When you connect Lizzo's perspective with Lil Terrio's, you start to see a powerful overlap. Both of them are challenging narratives that have been forced onto them. Terrio was told from childhood that he would die from obesity, that his body was a joke, that he was nothing more than a meme. Lizzo has been told for years that her body doesn't belong on stage, that she should be ashamed of herself, that she shouldn't love her reflection. Both of them have had to reject those narratives in order to survive, not just physically, but emotionally. Their transformations remind us that bodies are political in ways we don't always acknowledge. They're not just flesh and bone, they're symbols of identity, dignity, and choice. The public has a way of simplifying these stories. They like to frame weight loss as a neat before and after narrative, as if the person was once bad and now is good. But the reality is much more complicated. For Terrio, losing weight was not simply about discipline, it was about unlearning years of unhealthy coping mechanisms, changing his relationship with food, building new habits, and fighting against his own doubts. He had to push through workouts when he didn't want to move, had to make different decisions at every meal, had to find motivation when the world wasn't watching. Those small daily acts of discipline added up over time, but each one was a battle. In interviews and online posts, Terrio has spoken about how difficult it was to stay consistent. Progress didn't come overnight. He would lose some weight, then plateau, then gain a little back. He had to confront not just physical exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion too. Growing up as a viral meme meant he couldn't escape his past. Even as he tried to change, people would repost the old videos, reminding him of the boy he used to be. That kind of constant reminder can be discouraging. Yet, instead of giving up, he used it as fuel. He decided that if the world was going to keep reminding him of who he was, he would make sure they could also see who he had become. The discipline he speaks about in his Instagram caption, "Your transformation is waiting on the other side of your discipline," comes from real lived experience. It's not a motivational quote he copied from somewhere. It's the truth he discovered by waking up every day and facing the choice between slipping back into old habits or pushing forward into new ones. His body became proof that discipline, while painful, leads to change. And his story has become an inspiration to others who feel trapped in their own battles with weight or self-image. What makes his story even more poignant is how much it represents the evolution of internet culture itself. Back in 2013, when he first went viral, the internet wasn't yet as aware of the long-term consequences of turning people into memes. Child stars like Terrio didn't have media teams, therapy support, or managers to protect them. They were just kids thrust into a spotlight that never turned off. Today, there's a greater understanding of how harmful it can be. When you look back, you realize how unfair it was to laugh at a 6-year-old for his body and to encourage his viral fame without thinking about the impact. Terrio's weight loss, then, isn't just about his health, it's about reclaiming power from a culture that once used him as a joke. And still, in many ways, his journey parallels Lizzo's. She, too, has been used as a punchline by people who misunderstand her message. She has faced endless commentary about her body, from critics who say she shouldn't be a role model to fans who say she's betraying them if she loses weight. Her insistence that body positivity doesn't mean staying the same is a reminder that no one owes consistency to anyone else's expectations. People have the right to change, to evolve, to grow smaller or bigger, stronger or softer, without explanation.